Hello and welcome to this day. Have you ever had a day where you thought, I'm just having a moment? You know, that whiny day. Oh, I'm smiling when I say that. Because as women, I think we have those every once in a blue moon. Well, when I have that once in a blue moon, the moon ain't never blue, I don't think. There is a friend of mine who I love to call on to just get a giggle, to just lift each other up. Her name is Terri Bea-Sopher. She is an amazing woman of God. She is an apostle, prophet, and teacher. She has pastored for many, many years, and she and her husband lead the charge on all things media. They are a dynamic duo, and she is an amazing woman. Terri, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for shouting me out, uplifting me, boasting me, lying about me, and encouraging that lie to go throughout all the world. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And she's also a comedian, if you didn't know. I love the fact that we have seen each other through, let's see, I think we first met maybe 8 years ago?
Long
10
time
years
ago.
ago, 10
Yeah,
years
10
ago,
years
when
ago.
a little script came across my husband's desk for a film called Maddie that we executive produced with this amazing writer named Terri B. And that is you. You are the girl. So you are still writing, always telling a
Always.
wonderful story. And your latest book, Chance Moon Rising, is nothing less than amazing. You are already, and it just came out, you're already getting quite a stir. Tell me about and I was getting ready, let me speak a word to you. Tell me about that film.
You know what?
Come
It
on, somebody.
originally was a film. I did write it as a screenplay, a screenplay, and Kami was like, "No." So I was like, "Ugh." So I went
He
ahead
doesn't mix words, so I straight up.
You're like, no. So my bad. So I went ahead and switched it up and made it a prose. But everybody who has written it or read it has said this is a movie. It is a movie. So he might have to rethink his last remarks. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
You know, you have quite a gift in writing, and I recognize that you do labor to write. When you are writing, you are in the mode of labor and looking for that delivery. But
Absolutely.
there's the very seriously there is the woman that God has raised, that I'm always so fascinated with your ability to be such a joyful person because you've been through a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't get to walk this out without falling.
Yeah.
Yes, a few times. So yeah, I'm excited, and my writing is my escape. It's my, my way to crawl out the window and get down the fire escape. God does not give you a life that doesn't have a fire escape attached to it. There's always going to be a ready way out, and so my writing is that ready way out. And I thank God for people like you and Kami who have supported that and got behind it. And he's like, "Are you writing? Are you writing? You better be writing. I
Yep.
hope you writing." And so you starred in Maddie, and he did a phenomenal job in Maddie, and we've won awards. And Chance Moon might be the next great thing. So I'm excited to share it with you guys.
Well, there are so many different parts of how you write and your process. One of the things that I didn't know is how you are able to pull from every situation and life experiences, and then when I'm reading something that you've done, I may know a little bit about something that I read. I'm like, oh, I know where that came from. So
Yeah.
talk to us about the experience of understanding that your hand is moving according to what God has called you to write. With that, there are things that you've walked through that help you develop the story according to what He would have you to say.
Every God work is inspired by God, right? So we don't get to just he's not our what they call those people, ghostwriter. He absolutely is pen and paper. I think Chance Moon is the only story where I don't really have a dog in the fight, as I've never been a slave in my life.
Right.
And I'm not really a pious, proud, haughty spirit either. But God has channeled this prose, this story, this narrative in such a way that there are so many people that can relate to pieces of it, if not chunks, if not pages, if not a chapter. There's some glimpses of self-absorption, selfishness, uh, people who believe they're self-sufficient and don't need any external resources or internal power to do what they're doing right now. So I think that's what I like most about Chance, is that it's more than a story. It's a movement, and it's a moment that takes us back somewhere in our memories and say, hey, I remember when I felt that way, or thought that way, or considered myself a slave.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring up that way of thinking. I want you to pull from the book for us a little bit of what this story is about and how it is relative to what some people may be going through today internally.
The book is entirely about somebody who has an identity crisis. It's entirely about being overwhelmed and having faith fatigue. It's about somebody who is struggling with the book talks about transformation, and the church is so good about talking about salvation that they forget about transformation. It's like pulling a fish out of the water, or not a fish. Fish can swim, right? So we don't want to use that as an example. But pulling somebody else that can't swim out of the water, putting them on the shore, and sending them on their way, and not giving them the tools they need to not find themselves drowning again. And then not only that, but giving them the courage to be somebody who saves others from drowning. I believe Kami said it in his newest film about discipling.
Yes.
And pulling people out of pits, and not just sending them, pat them on the back and send them on back out in the world hurt and broken, but we're talking about where you fit now in purpose. And so Chance is about where Olivia fits now in purpose. She had her own plan, she had her own agenda, she had her own motives, but now God had to take her out of a place of position and platform and status and put her right smack dab in purpose. Can you see how your purpose is intertwined in all of these other people's lives? And when you don't do your part, the whole thing falls apart.
Right. You
The
leave
whole thing
people
falls
open
apart.
for their destinies not to happen because you
Right.
didn't do your part.
Because you didn't do your part and weren't even interested in doing your part. It was all
Ooh.
about you.
Yeah.
It was all about you.
Yeah.
And see, when God takes you out of the photograph, you realize, you mean I'm not the big picture? I'm not what this is all about. And so it talks about, culturally, it talks about identity crisis that we find ourselves in, how to live through this violence and this division, how to speak to a generation in a way that makes sense, and that telling these young people today culturally relevant word that says God can still take beauty from ashes.
Why is this important right now? Why is a book like this important right now?
Because we need to be healed. You know, a lot of people aren't really looking for salvation. They're looking for something to salvage what's left of their lives. They're not looking at the next phase in our life, which is transitioning from earth to glory. Where they're thinking about right now, they're thinking about how they can get it right now, how to do it right now, what is in front of them right now, and nobody talks about the legacy that they leave behind.
Ooh.
Nobody talks about, the history that shaped their present. And now you've got to try to transform, fix it, straighten it out, sort through it, sift through it, and throw out all the stuff that's not necessary for destiny.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you're hitting on there, when you talk about legacy, you got to look behind you and in front of you. You can't just do one part or the other, because you'll never get to where you need to pull down those strongholds within yourself, first of all, because first you got to take the plank out of your own eye, and then you got to go into those generational things that need to be dealt with and need to be dismissed. So when you think about that from an apostolic positioning that God has placed you in, what do you see that God is saying for us to do that we just simply ain't doing? Let's just cut to the chase.
We're more concerned with the entertainment aspect of media and not the tool that media is. Media chisels away at things. It tears down the walls. It rebuilds and then refocuses our vision. That's what television does. It's the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain.
Make it plain.
But television is the exact same medium. The media is using the very weapon that God has used historically, generationally, from time immemorial. He's always used visual effects. He's always used explanation through imagery. He paints the most beautiful pictures.
Yes, he does.
Who in the world can think that darkness is beautiful until he then says light? And that's what this world is centered on. We are moved by what we see. We believe what we hear. We're driven by our emotions. And so in this season, I believe God is saying the media needs to be taking over the principalities of the air. It needs to be interrupting the regularly scheduled programming of lies that the enemy infiltrates us with day and night. He bombards us with imagery that is distracting and deadly.
Yes.
And deadly. And so I believe what God is calling us to do is not just media. It's about having a conversation about faith, what faith really is. Okay, faith is a fight. Faith does hurt. Faith does not always put you in a good place. I mean, unless you think a cross is a promotion. But it does elevate you, but it elevates you in a way that takes you from earth to glory. Puts your mind on higher places. It takes your mind from what you're going through right now and how what you're going through can be used to better somebody else's life. It's not about us, boo. It's really truly not about us.
It's such
we are historical.
Yes, it's a bigger picture. You have media in the palm of your hand, and I really recognize that. In this 30 seconds left that I have with you, please talk to us about how we can see more and hear more through your media streams in order to get more of this meaty story. So
you can get Chance Moon on our website. You can learn more about my ministry on our website. It's www.cresoraintv.com. You can see some BJ Today and some Pivotal on there, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff on there. I even got Booski still on there.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I love it. I love it. But that's how you can find out more about me and my ministry, and you can grab a copy of the book. You can get an autographed copy from me.
You are so awesome. We thank you so much for joining us. You are everything that he wants you to be right now. So enjoy this moment, keep soaring, and keep speaking of the good word of God. I love you.
I love
Appreciate you. You're so cool.
Thank you.